Hey guys, so we wanted to give you a quick run through and a tour of our van that we rented with Indie Campers. In no way means is this a sponsored post with Indie Campers. We pay for this ourselves, and that's why we feel we can give you the best feedback, because we're giving you this tour at the end of our 2-week travels on the road in Italy in this van, so we can be really honest with you. When we began planning our Italy holiday, we knew we wanted to road trip around the country in a camper van. We started to research into different rental companies, and Indie Campers seemed to have the biggest fleet, the cheapest cost, and widest range of models to choose from. We ended up choosing the Active van. It is a medium-sized model, yet spacious enough for the two of us. I'm not quite sure what's going on with this astronaut / smoking baby. We rented for a total of 14 days. Each night cost us €98. We added Prime insurance, which was €20, one chemical toilet, which was €45, but we got for free, one kitchen kit, which included a portable gas stove, pots, pans, plates and cutlery, one bedding kit, and then there was a cheeky service fee of €147 and a preparation fee of €50, which was unfortunately unavoidable, but we did manage to find a referral discount online of €25. So all up, it cost us €1,873 across 14 days. Whilst this might seem expensive, we saved money on accommodation, which during the summer months in Italy would have been rather expensive, and it was also our mode of transport around the whole of Italy. One unexpected cost was the campsite fees, which averaged about €35 a night. Altogether, we had about 6 nights in campsites for when we needed to charge our electronics, as this van did not have an off-grid setup of solar. This is our charging station, and this is our view. We picked her up in Milan Malpensa and dropped her off in the same location. Right, back to the van tour. So this is our cockpit area, so there's no frills here. Literally, you've got your driver's seat, you've got your indicators on the left, you've got your window wipers on the right hand side, and remember, if you're not used to right hand side driving with the left hand side wheel, then you will need to start memorizing how to change the gears with your right hand, which was a little bit tricky at first, but you get used to it. Driving on the opposite side of the road.
Never easy to get used to.
Never easy.
A fine job.
What's really nice about the cockpit area is you've got this dashboard here. You flip this out and you can put your phone in here for your maps. You can plug it in to your Kenwood speaker, and you also have another USB port that Alex has found handy when she's charging her phone here. You've also got some really handy cup holders here, which we've obviously made the most of. Aircon is fantastic, and that's about it for the cockpit area. The other things to think about, there's not many mirrors in this van, so what Alex did was actually put her compact mirror in here, which worked out really well.
The other super cool thing about this chair is it does swivel, but I'm not very good at doing it. But it does go round with a bit of pushing. Ooh. So it's really great if you want to have dinner, breakfast, lunch. There's a table that also fits here. You can just put your feet up. It's pretty comfy. So I'll just push this back to facing forward. This is our kitchen and fridge area. So it's okay workspace. I do think one thing for me is when I'm cooking, a little bit of extra workspace would have been great. Even this bit, I feel like it's a bit of wasted space. If this was kind of straight, it would have added a bit of extra space, but it's just minor things. The fridge lives under here. It's pretty small. We did survive with it okay. The only thing we did find was that it did tend to freeze our food. Overnight, our fridge has decided to turn into a freezer.
Anyone for a cucumber?
Oh my god. There is a temperature gauge, but we're finding it didn't work. It would always just freeze every time we plugged in, so that was a bit of a pain, and we did kind of lose a bit of food from that, but otherwise for beers, great.
So there is no cooktop stove as such in this van. So we went with the Active model, and with that model it doesn't come with a built-in one. I'm not sure if the other models do as well, but one thing to remember is they give you a portable gas cooker. Now that portable gas cooker only has one hob or one stove or hot plate. Now if you're trying to do multiple things at once, that can become quite tricky. And one thing to remember, unlike Australia and New Zealand, there is a big propane gas canister. In this instance, it's just one of those portable ones. They are so hard to get hold of in Italy. We found the only place that sold them was Decathlon. You can't even get them in supermarkets, you can't even get them in service stations, and you can't even get them in petrol stations. So that's one thing to remember when you are on the road, when you pick up your van, try and hit a Decathlon as soon as possible.
One good thing though about those is that they are pretty cheap. So for one of those gas canisters, they were only about €3. We only used, I think, about 2.5 gas canisters, and we were here for 2 weeks. So they last quite a long time. And we cooked pretty much every day and made coffee every morning. So the sink, pretty self-explanatory. It holds 60 litres of water. We're finding that that did go through quite quickly, and we didn't even really use the shower, so I guess that's just from washing up. Underneath the sink, we're not actually sure what this is. We think this might be the water tank. You can't move it, so we think it might be that. But otherwise, there's a bit of space here just to keep your pots and pans, or probably, we kept our plates and just knives and forks. It doesn't fit much in other than that.
And that is another thing to remember. All the pots, pans, plates, cutlery, everything is kept in a Tupperware box at the back of the van, which for us, we found quite irritating because you kept having to go to the back of the van to get all those things, to do all your cooking, do all your cleaning. So that's another thing which was something which we felt could have been improved a little bit. But as Alex said, we just kept the basic necessities underneath the sink anyway.
So storage space, this is the only storage space that you have. So they're pretty deep, so we've got all our linen in here pushed down to the bottom, to the floor. And again, it's the same here. However, with these ones, they actually don't go all the way down to the bottom. They've actually got a wedge there. There is a little hanging space here, but they supplied no hangers, so we couldn't actually use it. But there's enough to put your clothes. And the same with this one here.
So we actually only ever slept at the top. This bottom section does convert into a bed. Now, we've actually turned it into a bed and laid our suitcases out because for us that was really convenient. This section is just a pillow which pops up to here and acts as a back cushion for the sofa. And this section here is just a table that props up. So really, it's a nice seating area if you want to do some work on your laptops, and if you want to even have some food as well. Otherwise, if you are traveling as a family, or if there are 4 of you or more than 2, you've got the top section which turns into a bed, and you've got the bottom section which turns into a bed as well.
So to unclip this, you just pull that back and you do the same on the other side. This is quite heavy, so just have to be careful when you're bringing it down.
And same with the other side.
And the same with this side as well. So that comes down. And then you've got these metal bars here which you just pull out.
And you do the same with the middle section.
Which is there.
Like so. And that is essentially your frame for your bed.
And then this comes over a comfy bed.
That's your bed. What's super handy up here is if you do want to charge your mobile phones, they have 5-volt chargers, so you can plug in your USB over here, and there's also another one on this side. And this is one of the best features, is having these double doors at the back, because when you are parked up in places like the Dolomites and you want that scenery of all the mountains, this is perfect. Just think of us, bed up there, head there, looking out, it's fantastic. Now, this is the storage area of where we kept all of our belongings. Now, one thing to remember, as I said before, is you've got your Tupperware box at the back, which has all of your bits and bobs. You've got your plates, pots, cutlery. Now, this is an additional fee that Indie Campers charge. So, it's a bit silly because of course you're going to get all the kitchen items, but we found that with other companies, they include that, which Indie Campers do not. This is your gas cooker. So as we said before, it's a 1 burner and your gas pops in here. This is what the gas canister looks like. It's very easy to use. Pop it in like so, and you click it down, close it, and turn it on, and you get your fire. Always, always, always unclick your gas after you have stopped using it for safety reasons. They also give you a cleaning box where they included a couple loo rolls, some bin bags, and dustpan and brush. And also at the back is this little hose, which is very handy, especially if you just come back from the beach. You want to wash the sand off, you just turn on the button at the end, and get your water.
Hey presto.
Make sure you turn it off, and it's got a little hook as well. One thing we did find surprising was that they don't supply hoses, which we find obscure. So we luckily picked these up for free at the Indie Campers depot because they had a few lying about that other renters had left after they finished their rental.
So the water is just around the side of the van. It's literally marked nice and simple and very easy here. You just undo it, put the hose in, and that's where you fill up the water. So that's really very easy. The diesel's here. Again, nice big sign to remind you that it is diesel. And also we've got the wire, so when you want to plug into the electric, it's literally just there. So it's quite nice and handy. It's literally all on the left hand side, so you know where it is. So this door opens all the way up, which is really nice, especially when it's a super hot day and you want the door open, you can just slide that out. The only other storage that's in the kitchen is this here. It's actually quite nice and big. We actually did end up not even using it for food. I think we used it for some clothing and a couple of bottles of wine as well. And this one, which again also is quite a lot of space. We managed to fit all of our food in there that lasts us for about 4 days, so that's pretty good. The only other thing is plugs. So you've got 2 sockets here. Now they only work when you're plugged in, so when the van is plugged in, you've got a handy hook there, and also just lights. So there's one under the kitchen, and there's these 2 as well, which is in the main section here, and there's also some, so when you're in bed you can pop that on as well and turn the lights up there. The other really cool thing is there's 3 vents, and all you do is twist it up. There's a fly screen, so that's really handy, especially here where there's mosquitoes, and you can just let some air come in, but obviously don't forget to close it when you're driving. Now the shower and toilet has a door that opens. So the toilet is actually within the shower. We actually didn't end up using the toilet at all. We always found other places. We hate having to clean out the black water, so that worked out well. The shower is okay. The pressure's pretty low. It's not going to be your standard normal good house shower, but it's fine for when you're on the road, especially for a quick spill down when you're super hot. It's actually really worth having the shower. One thing to mention is there is no hot water. To be honest, it's something we didn't even think about, but in Italy in the summer it wasn't really an issue, but if you were traveling in winter, that might be something you want to consider, that there is no hot water, even though I just noticed it's got a hot and cold water gauge.
So unlike other vans that we've rented before, there's no meter or no board that you can check to see what your water levels are like, what your gas levels are like, what your battery levels are like, so you really have to try and gauge it as and when you are driving. So this is why we did find every place we were stopping, we made sure we topped it with water, we made sure we plugged in as much as possible, because really there's no way to find out how much you have in terms of all those things. Unlike other vans where you can plug in 240 volt when you are not plugged in this van only the small 5 volt USBs work. So if you are trying to plug your laptop in when you are on the road and you're not plugged into a campsite, you will struggle. And last but not least, there's a little bit of storage at the top, and that is where we kept our table. So this section here, it's really easy to fold out and put up.
So we hope you enjoyed our very quick van tour in Italy. It's been really great for the 2 weeks. There's a few things we would change, but really nothing that has kind of impacted on our trip or made it really difficult. It's just a few minor things that we would make changes if it was our van.
If you do have any questions, please let us know. We're more than happy to answer them. But yeah, as for Indie Campers, it's not a bad place to rent with and drive around in Italy.
Time to go.
Time to go.
Don't want to leave Italy.
Alex is right, it is sadly time for us to leave Italy. We have had such a fantastic 2-week trip on the road here and somewhat attached to the place now. We've just done our last few minute checks. We are currently in Portofino, or actually no, we are currently in Rapallo, and this has been our last night actually living in the van. So we've just done our last few minute checks. We've emptied all the black water, the grey water, we have cleaned everything to the best of our abilities, so it's ready to hand over as soon as we get to Milan, where the Indie Campers drop-off point is.
So we are on our way to Milan Airport. It's going to take about 2.5 hours drive. We are currently breathing in as much fresh air as we can right now, because in about 30 hours that we will no longer be breathing fresh air, but instead aircon air in a hotel room for 14 whole days of quarantine in Australia. We will be traveling to Australia during a time that travel to Australia is pretty much banned.
However, luckily for us, we are permanent residents of Australia. Therefore, we are allowed to enter back home into the country. So we've got Fernando doing his last minute checks of the van to make sure we left it in pristine condition, which of course we did. We have about 10 minutes to chill out in this depot area where we dropped off the van, and then we're going to get our Uber to the airport. Our Uber is here in his lovely big Mercedes.
Ooh, fancy Uber.
Right. Goodbye, Indie Campers.
Goodbye, Indie Campers. Bye, van.
So we just made it to the gate.
There is literally no one here. Are we the only people on the flight?
I don't know. We'll see.
Oh my god.
So we feel we can give you the best feedback in terms of why you should rent within the best feedback in terms of. Now we went with the what van is it called? What?
The only issue is we did find that because it's one of what is it? Every time we plugged in, there's no temper gauge. So to do this, you just unclip this.
We're a minute away.
So to
The ants are in here. Yeah. Up one more time. Tense. Oh. So we'll show you.
Stop it again.
So we'll show you what we get up to. So we'll show you. Yeah.
So we'll show you.